Patrick, out and about here in Stifford Clays, is this the beginning of your campaign as a prospective MEP?
It certainly is. It's more than that though, obviously, because the European elections next spring coincide with lots of local elections all around the eastern counties too, and in fact the local results may be just as important to UKIP as the MEP results, because there'll be a springboard into the general election. We'll get hopefully hundreds more councillors elected across Britain next May, so the local government aspect is very important because that will be our ground force for the general election campaign as well.
When I was over in Harlow last April for the local elections, Labour were saying they felt for the first time immigration was #1 on the agenda. Why now?
Well, I think everybody knows that Labour lost control of the immigration system. What we're not quite certain of is whether it was just incompetence or whether it was a deliberate plan to kind of there was one Labour insider said to rub the noses of the right in diversity, but they wouldn't talk about the downsides of immigration, the depressing effect on wages, on job opportunities, the pressure on the council housing stock, all this kind of thing. So I think the traditional Labour voter is really disenchanted with what went on and isn't convinced at all by Ed Miliband sort of saying, oh, we got a few things wrong, but I'm not exactly going to tell you what we're going to do to get it right in future. And the thing is, with the big waves of immigration now coming from Eastern Europe, the only way we can control that and control our own borders is to get out of the EU, and I think that message is cutting through not just with Tory-minded people but with your traditional Labour voter who's deeply disenchanted as well.
Was it a big decision for you as a journalist, as we always like to just simply ask the questions? Was it a big decision to make this possible transition?
It is a big decision. I mean, I was instrumental in taking the Daily Express to be Britain's only better off out national newspaper, and you know, I have my voice in my newspaper column, but more and more I felt that I needed to get stuck in and really make this happen, and just standing on the sidelines arguing the case I could do more, and that UKIP was the party I believed in, not just in terms of immigration but a whole host of other issues, from law and order to grammar schools to not spending nearly as much money on foreign aid to corrupt developing world regimes as well. So I found myself drawn to UKIP, and the people I met in UKIP when I spoke at the conferences were the sort of people I came into politics to protect and fight for.
And you mentioned law and order. You're here in Essex. I mean, Essex police are fighting £43 million worth of cuts, or having to deal with, not fight with, deal with. So that must have a great... Would there be something... Would UKIP have done that?
UKIP would have a higher priority on law and order. We obviously, the last Labour government left the country in not a very good financial state, so some cuts across public services are clearly inevitable, but it's ridiculous that we've got to a stage where the police were taking the proportionately, I think, the biggest cut of any public service, up to 20%. We certainly wouldn't have done that to them.
But you're enjoying the campaign and you're out and about, and somewhere like here in Stifford Clays, really feel you've got the heartbeats of your whole constituency.
I really do, and you know, some people think that UKIP only appeals, or they like to imagine only appeals in the prosperous sort of gin and jag conservative areas. That's not true at all. We are in fact the one party now who can argue we are a truly national party. We appeal on the council estates, and in suburbia and in the more prosperous areas too, in the north, in the south, in the east and the west. Wherever there's a by-election, you'll find UKIP putting in a great performance.
Actually, thank you very much.